Hello, everyone. I'm very glad to be back. And in a few moments, I will start my presentation. And for those of you who are presently here, I want to thank those of you who responded. I took a different path last time, and I was pleasantly surprised with the response. And so I intend to continue along those lines. And we're going to give people a few minutes to sign in, and then I'll begin. For those of you who are very observant, you'll notice that I'm not wearing my smock today, because I decided that the only reason people call me doctor is because I went to school and earned that degree. And if we're going to truly communicate, then I wanted to take that issue, that aura that word has, and kind of minimize it so that we're all in the same ballpark. I also want to tell you that it's been a wonderful and horrendous week, and I'm very glad to be on with you. I was in a rush last week, and I injured my right eye. Thank the good Lord, it was not what I had feared it would be. It was just a superficial injury, but had we been on last Monday, as my old granddaughter said, "Grandpa, you look like an alien. Turn away." It was really bad, but a week has done wonders for it. Now, I'd like to talk about food and our relationship with food. We would not be here today except for the fact that our relationship with food is a conflict between food and ourselves. It's a negative kind of thing. The temptation, the pressure, the wanting. And I've explained to you the power is so great because of the fact that from the first few hours of life, food was used for comfort in our lives. And even more difficult for women who are nurturers, because built into their DNA is the giving of nurturance to comfort. And in my mind, I go, it cries, the woman comforts. it cries, the woman comforts. The woman cries, and built into her DNA is using food for comfort. So it makes it that much more difficult. So food is a love-hate relationship. And how we deal with that relationship becomes the key. So the first thing that I want to point out is that when we start Accuweight, that we recognize we're starting on a journey. And we're not on one of these Star Trek machines where you step in and you go from here to here and you're there. For most of us, the journey started a long time ago. And we've been on diets, and we've been off diets, and we've been on diets, and we've been off diets. And we haven't been successful because we're here. And the reason we haven't been successful is because we have not changed our attitude towards food. And we have not changed our attitude to our own behavior in relationship to food. One of the things I've learned is that punishment is not any way meaningful as compared to reward. And that when we punish people, we don't really teach them anything because they're dealing with the punishment and not the thing in itself. One of the reasons I love Accuweight Loss is because it's broken into 3 pieces. If the journey is very, very long, we get tired. And most diets take a very long time, particularly if you don't use drugs and you don't use ancillary kinds of things. Now, Accuweight Loss promises 15 pounds only fat in total health, and let's smooth it out in 30 days. That sounds wonderful and terrific. Because I know if I can make up my mind to do the program the way it's prescribed, in 30 days, I'm going to have lost 15 pounds. Excuse me. And how do I know that? I know it because Dr. Schwartz has been saying for over 20 years, 15 pounds, only fat in 30 days. And how could he still be in business making the same promise unless it worked? So it requires a commitment. And here is the key. Why? Why do it? I love food. You love food. I watch the children. they deal with food in a very personal kind of way, and they don't really think about it. They just do it, and that's it. And think about this. I want something that tastes good, so I take some ice, I put it on a stick, I color it, I make it look like a rocket ship. It's tasty. Don't tell me you don't want it and it's not going to make you feel good. And don't tell me it's not good for me because it has sugar in it. I want to feel good, and I'm going to do it. So step number 1, I have to have a reason within myself. Why am I doing this? What is it that I want? And part of it is this rebirth of self that I'm talking about. Loving myself, respecting myself, liking myself. And when I make a commitment and I fulfill that commitment to myself, it feels good. And if the commitment is not an incredible journey that's going to take me who knows how long, the odds are I'm going to be able to fulfill that commitment. So I have to determine what is it that I want and why do I eat. These are critical factors. When I walk into AccuWeight Loss, and it's the first week, and what do I think about? He tells me that, meaning Dr. Schwartz, that when I come in next time and get on the scale, he's going to say to me, putting up with this program for the entire week, and let's say it was a difficult week, and now I got on the scale, but I did it the way I committed myself. And the answer is, that number is going to tell me whether it was worth it. So I'm doing it for a reason. Now there's someone else. Their commitment is not as strong as the person I just mentioned. The program will still work, but I have to agree that I'm not going to be scrupulous. I'm still going to stay within the ballpark, but I may do a little here and I may do a little here, and I'm willing to accept a slower, a longer period of time to get where I want to go. I've discovered that talking with people and sharing what we are sharing right now, but actually sharing it, makes it easier for stage 1. Stage 1 is losing X amount of pounds and inches, which is my goal. So with self-love, communication, and a program that interacts, that makes me feel more comfortable and safe, I said to you, once I saw that person as crazy, it was much easier for me to accept their behavior. But when I saw them as a normal person, acting in the way in which they were, I couldn't accept their behavior. When it comes to food, we're all crazy. But we act as though it's normal. And the reason we act as though it's normal is because we were given food from almost the moment we were born. So if we do phase 1, which is take off the initial weight and recognize how our behavior loves me, respects me, takes care of me, makes me feel good about myself, because when I no longer argue with that person, forget about the fact that I recognize them as being crazy now. When I don't argue with that person any longer, it feels darn good. And I like feeling darn good. And I respect myself more for it because I resolved an issue that made me feel bad. When I cheat, I feel bad. When I go off the program, I feel bad. I have to be punished, and we go through all these kinds of things. Let's look at what we're doing. Let's share. And I believe that phase 2 and phase 3, which are stabilization, where I learn how to live with food. One quickie. When I first met my wife, I was over the moon. And then we got married. I still was very keen on her, but after living with her and learning about some of her idiosyncrasies, and she learning about some of my idiosyncrasies, it wasn't over the moon anymore. So in order for that relationship to prosper, each of us had to make accommodations. You're going to have to change your behavior and learn to live with food instead of the negativity and saying, I'm going to have to live without. And you can't live without if you want to. I thank you for listening to me. I hope this resonates with you to the point where I get some emails, I get some telephone calls. For those of you who come into the office, some interactions. But all in all, thank you for listening. And now I'm going to open the floor for questions. And Hans, could you lay out the rules? Okay. Thank you. I'm going to read the questions because my understanding is then everyone who is present will know not only the question, but my answer should relate to it and make sense. Question: what happens if I am late in changing the beads? First, let's talk about it. The bead placement is critical. There are 12 bead placements. Only one of the 12 is active. The other 11 are dormant. So if the bead is not placed properly, the messages from the acupressure do not go to the hypothalamus. And since there are 12 points, the odds are 12-1 that you're going to get it right. After the first set of beads, there are now only 11 points because one has been used and will not show up for 4 to 12 weeks. So the odds are now 11-1. The odds never get much less. Now, each bead placement, once you start to massage, is good for 7 days. It's slightly less potent on the 8th day, and it stops working on the 9th day. By the 10th day, they are psychologically effective, but not functionally. Now, the answer to the question is, if it happens that I'm unable on the 8th, 9th, 10th days to do the beads, no significant damage will be done because the body is not like a light switch. You can't just turn it on and turn it off. If you did that on a regular basis, let's say you only change the beads once every 2 weeks, your body would begin to go into starvation mode, your metabolism would slow, and you would begin to functionally act like a person in starvation mode with your metabolism slowing. You're burning muscle, you're burning organ, you're leaching minerals from the bones. If it happens that you're late, you'll survive it. It might become a little difficult with hunger returning, but it's not going to have a major impact on the program. And one other thing, there are only 2 stages. The program is working or it's not working. There is no gray area. If it's working, 15 pounds, only fat every 30 days. If it's not working, it's something else. So if you're unable to change the beads and it happens, relax and just get back on the horse. Next question. Do I have to drink water at night? I'm worried about waking up too much to go to the bathroom. First, the answer is no, you do not need to drink water. And I would break it out in a very different way. You can live for weeks without food. You can only live for days without water. So water is critical. Number 2, water is used to flush. So that if you drink an adequate amount of water and you're hydrated, the burned fat is going to be flushed out of your body. I tend to recommend 60 to 80 ounces a day. But I also recommend that you break it down into small pieces, because drinking a lot of water at one time, generally speaking, most of the water will just pass through. You will not become hydrated, whereas if you have a little water often, your body will become hydrated and it will have a positive impact on your weight loss. So, if you have a problem and you're running to the bathroom too often and you're worried about it at night, don't worry about it. The only thing I would recommend is that first thing in the morning that you drink to help hydrate your body and get you started. Next question. Can I have lemon in my water, diet soda, tea? The answer is a qualified yes. First, I'd like to deal with the lemon. Citrus fruits have sugar in them. Therefore, lemon and lime juice have sugar in them. You can use the citrus, lemon and lime, between 12 and 6 on a vegetable day. But before 12 and after 6, I recommend you only use the concentrate, because there is no sugar in the concentrate and therefore not a problem. So concentrate 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Now, diet soda and tea. The only area of that, and if there's 0 calories, as far as the program is concerned, the answer is yes. But I want you to consider the color of the drink. And the reason is water is pure and clear, and the body simply gets hydrated. Beverages, even though they're 0 calorie and are darker in color, have to go through the liver to be cleansed before they are used by the body. So the amount of hydration is reduced by the darkness of the color in the beverage. So yes, diet soda, yes, tea, but remember, the darker the color, the less hydrating it is. Next question. Will I really burn only fat? Wonderful question, and I'm going to answer it and explain it. The answer is yes. Now, here is the reason why. When you massage the beads, they block the brain's ability to count calories. If your brain can't count calories, the alarm bell does not go off. So the burglars, in this case the burglar is starvation, are in the house, but the alarm does not go off. Now, in all diets, and remember, and I'll get to that later, I submit that AccuWeight Loss is weight loss and not a diet. All diets are cannibalistic. You burn muscle, you burn organ, you leach minerals from the bones. In this case, you're only getting a very limited number of calories, which would normally be addressed by your body. But because of the massage of the beads, that doesn't occur. So there are no metabolic changes. But you still need energy. Where are you going to get your energy? In early human times, the hunters would hunt, the people would eat. The hunters were not successful, the people were starving. Call it evolution. The body learned to store fat for the period of time between hunts. In this case, your liver will reach out to your stored fat, will convert some of your stored fat to glycogen, which is a form of sugar, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You will be living off your own fat. If you stick to the program and do not alter the chemistry, you only lose fat. And that's why in every picture that you have seen of the successful people on the program, they do not have that gaunt, pinched, emaciated look, because the structure of the body underneath was not touched. They only lost the bloat and the puffiness. I am currently battling cancer. Can I go on the program during treatment? The answer is absolutely yes. We have had many people, particularly overweight cancer patients. And one of the major reasons it's non-metabolic and it starves the body for its major contribution to the growth of cancer. We've had many reports of people coming back and not only losing weight, but saying that the quality of life, because of the program, has improved. So the answer is absolutely yes. Why is accurate weight loss? Hans has a question, people. Go ahead, Hans. Okay. The issue of calcium has nothing to do with the program. And unless from a diagnostic point of view I have more information, I do not see why the program would have any negative issue. So the real question is, what's going on with this particular individual? And so it would have to be handled on an individualized basis. Because if it were an issue of raising calcium levels in the individuals who use the program, it would be a problem for everyone. So this problem is personalized, and I recommend they call and speak with me, and we find an option based upon the specific condition of the person. I think I've answered the question. It's not programmatic, it's personal. And yes, there is a solution. Please call me. 973-243-5556 or DRS, Dr. S, at AccuWeight.com and send me an email. DRS, Dr. S, at AccuWeight.com. Next question. Why is AccuWeight Loss called a program, a system, and not a diet? Here's the answer. All diets are cannibalistic. They burn muscle, they burn organ, they leach minerals from the bones, and they lower the metabolism. There are some programs/diets out there that are not natural because they alter the metabolism. But as I said just earlier, on this program, you only burn fat, and I don't want to get into it right now, but there is no ketosis. This is a normal, natural program where you only burn fat, and since it is not cannibalistic, it's not a diet because you cannot live on AccuWeight Loss. You can live on a diet. On AccuWeight Loss, once the level of fat gets down to a certain level, your body is in trouble. So AccuWeight Loss is only phase 1. Weight loss. Phase 2 and 3 are stabilization, where you learn how to eat, not what to eat. And if you learn how to eat, then you're changing your life. The reason what to eat doesn't work is because you're a human being, whether you want to admit it or not. And humans do not tolerate subjugation. When I give you a diet and say, here, follow it, I'm putting you in a cage. And human beings fight being in a cave. And that's why all diets eventually fail. Stabilization, however, learning how to eat, will not only change your life, but change your relationship with food. Phase 3 is now maintenance. And maintenance requires an investment in yourself. Why? Very simply. You know, there's this incredible weekend I heard about, and I want to go. And there'll be laughing and singing and food and dancing and all kinds of stuff. If I go, what's going to happen? So part of my contingency plan, which is part of maintenance, is learning that I can go on that weekend, and I have a payment plan built in to my maintenance to address it. Now I can have my cake and eat it and not put on weight. And it's normal and natural for me because I'm important enough. And simplistically, do you know anything that's free? You got to pay for everything. So you're going to pay for the weekend by your contingency plan. Therefore, it's not a diet. It's a 3-phase weight loss program. I am experiencing fewer migraines. Do the beads make that happen? The beads have a major role. Sorry, I was trying to think of a word in the program. Without the beads, this is a starvation program. And you will burn muscle, you'll burn organ, you'll leach minerals from the bones, it'll lower your metabolism, and you'll go into starvation mode. With the beads, as I explained earlier, you will only burn fat. It is very normal for migraine patients to report improvement while on the program. In fact, I'm kind of overstepping myself a little bit, but my daughter-in-law, when she is on the program, is migraine-free. And therefore, it says to me that the food part of the program with the detoxification, since on the program, less or no migraines, off the program, more migraines or migraines. The distinction is clear. People on the program are impacted in a positive kind of way. And then one of the things I would recommend is we talk about, for those of you who are in this area, an elimination diet which will take place as part of stabilization. My scale is up 2 pounds, but I haven't cheated. What's going on? My first and simple answer is there is no such thing as magic. Weight gain is dependent upon the amount of water in the body, as the body is at least 70% water, your brain even more than 70%. So my suggestion is, or my answer is, and this is particularly true with women, and why 15 pounds minimum every 30 days is what no one has heard anything else from me but that statement, is because between water and hormone issues, a woman's body is so complex that it's inexplicable. But water and hormones make a significant difference, and therefore the 2 pounds, in my opinion, is almost always, when the person has not cheated, water. Last question. What is the weight set point? Very, very important question. You come in at a certain weight, whatever that initial weight is. Now keep that in mind. Now I want you to go back first to your weight loss history. It did not go at a straight line. You gained 3 pounds, you sat there for a period of time, and that was your weight. And then after a period of time, you were up another 2 pounds, and then another 3 pounds. And it was kind of like a ladder. When you came into the program, you lost the weight. That weight and those steps are called set points. In the scientific community, you will find information, and it takes about 2 months from the time you finish the program up here, lose the weight down here, that your body acknowledges that your new set point is here as opposed to there. And that's one of the reasons why we say stabilization is at least 4 to 8 weeks. And in most cases, a bit more. And that is to reset that set point to your new final goal weight so that you're able to maintain it. I want to thank all of you for participating. I want to thank all of you for being here. And I want to tell you, rebirth of love of self is the goal for all of us. When you lose the weight, you've taken control of your life. You are in charge. And you like yourself better because you've taken charge and have done something that makes you feel good. That new love and respect for yourself is going to have a major and positive impact on you. So let's learn to love. Let's learn to respect ourselves. And let's hear and share. Thank you for listening.